It's the 16th of October 2024. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news this evening, I am Damitha Abeyratne for the Newsfirst team.
And I am Hashni Patrana. First up is a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst Headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
President outlines vision for Sri Lanka's education sector. Who in the Samagi Janabalavegya wields similar influence as its leader and General Secretary? Who is Hirunika hinting at?
ඔන්න මට ඒක මහලේකම්තුමා හෝ නායකතුමා කිව්ව නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැනේ. එහෙම දේශපාලනයක් නොකරන කෙනෙක්ගෙන් මම මේ දේවල් අහන්න ලෑස්ති නැහැ කියන එකයි මම කියන්නේ.
Damitha's challenge to SJB's General Secretary Ranjit Madhuma Bandara.
කියනවනේ සංනිවේදනයේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් කියලා. එහෙනම් ඉතින් ජාතික ලයිස්තුවෙන් ඔබතුමා අයින් වෙලා හරි මාව දාන්න.
Group complains to the President's office over failure to provide employment overseas. One dead in Grandpa's shooting. 10 foreign nationals engaging in cybercrimes arrested in Irunavilla.
Newsfirst Headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
In our top story for tonight, President Anurukumara Dissanayake emphasized the need to rebuild Sri Lanka's education system in alignment with global demands to achieve the country's educational goals. The President made these remarks during a progress review meeting of the Ministries of Education, Science and Technology at the President's office.
President Anurukumara Dissanayake pointed out that children must be equipped with knowledge to improve Sri Lanka's human capital for future progress. The President further highlighted that the responsibility of creating the workforce needed by the world over the next decade falls on education officials, stressing the importance of aligning educational projects with this vision. The meeting focused on areas such as modernizing school education, improving teacher training, advancing secondary education, enhancing technical education and developing information technology education. During the review chaired by President Dissanayake and Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, there was an extensive discussion on 5 key projects implemented by the Ministries of Education, Science and Technology. Both the President and Prime Minister instructed officials to expedite the implementation of these projects. Further discussions were held on expanding the number of schools offering science, mathematics and technology curriculums for advanced level students.
The Department of Pensions is set to distribute a monthly interim allowance of 3,000 rupees to all pensioners starting today. According to the PMT, President Anurukumara Dissanayake, who looked into the delays in disbursing the proposed monthly interim allowance of 3,000 rupees to pensioners, recently directed that the necessary funds be released from the Treasury. Following a cabinet meeting on Monday, the Treasury Operations Department has provided an allocation of 2.021 billion rupees for 679,960 pensioners this month.
Disagreements have emerged about the previous government's announcement during the presidential election to increase the salaries of state sector employees from January. Now, Cabinet spokesperson Vijitha Herath yesterday said that neither the Ministry of Finance nor the Treasury has given any approval for this.
Madhuru Vithanage, a member of the ruling party at that time, today said that the failure to provide the increased salaries shows the government's incompetency. Meanwhile, former State Minister Taraka Balasuriya last night said that the announcement made during the presidential election is no longer valid.
According to recommendations from the committee set up by Ranil Wickremesinghe to look into salary anomalies, the Cabinet approved an increase in state sector employees' salaries by 24% to 50% during the time of the presidential election. A statement was also released explaining the specific salary increases for each group.
No approval has been given by the Ministry of Finance, which means the Cabinet made this statement on its own. Based on reports from Senagama, we need to know if there are funds available for these salary increments and if the Treasury is aware of it. This is something that state sector employees in this country should understand. The truth is that people have been misled about this
Former ruling party MP Madhura Vithanage had this to say.
Ranil Wickremesinghe's government has responsibly communicated about salary payments. This is important because in the years before the economic crisis, about 40% of the government tax money was spent on the state sector employees' salaries. Also, after recent tax cuts, over 65% of the tax money was used to pay state sector employees. When revenue has gone down, saying that we cannot provide salary increases shows the government's failure. If that's true, I would suggest to Vijitha Herat that we should take on the ministerial roles ourselves. We are ready to face even bigger challenges than before.
During the Satana program on Sirasa TV last night, former State Minister Tharaka Balasurya said that the announcements made regarding state sector employee salaries during the presidential election are no longer valid.
රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්ගේ වැටුප් වැඩි කිරීමට අපිට හැකියාව ලැබී තිබෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඔබතුමාලා රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්ගේ වැටුප් වැඩි කරාද?
නෑ අපි මේ අවුරුද්දේදී රුපියල් 5000ක දීමනාවක් දුන්නා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක රුපියල් 10000ක දීමනාවක් කරා.
හරි. දැන් ඔබතුමාගේ Facebook එකේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහගේ රූපෙත් එක්ක තියෙනවා. පොලිස් නිලධාරී තනතුරු සඳහා 10740 ඉඳලා 23685 මේ වගේ 28ක් පින්තූර ඇතුළු මේ කැටගරිස් තියෙනවා.
ඒ ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණයට දාපු
ඔව් දැන් ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදීනේ රාජ්‍ය ඇමතිදුරයක් දැරුවේ. ඔව් දැන් මේක කියන්නේ වැටුප් වැඩි කරා කියලා. අද කැබිනට් ප්‍රෙස් එකේදී කැබිනට් ප්‍රවෘත්ති සාකච්ඡාවේදී විජිත හේරත් අමාත්‍යවරයා කියනවා මේ වැටුප් වැඩි කිරීම සඳහා මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් නිරීක්ෂණ කැඳවලා නැහැ. මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයේ කිසිදු මහා භාණ්ඩාගාරයෙන් කිසිදු අවසරයක් ලැබිලා නැහැ කියලා. ඇයි එතකොට මේ බොරු කියන්නේ? දැන් ඔබතුමාගේ මේ Facebook එකේ තියෙන්නේ වැඩි කරා වැටුප් වැඩි කරා කියලා. ඇයි
දැන් ඔය ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණයේදී දාපු එකක් ඒ රුපියල් 25000කින් ඒ පඩි වැඩි කරනවා කියලා ඒ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ පොරොන්දුවක් දුන්නා.
දැන් ඔබතුමානේ මේ ලිව්වේ රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්ගේ වැටුප් වැඩි කිරීමට අපිට හැකියාව ලැබී තිබෙනවා.
අපි ඒ සාමාන්‍ය ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණයක් කරනකොට අපිට ඒ පෝස්ට් එනවා සමහර ඒවා අපිට දාන්න වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ හැම පෝස්ට් එකක්ම මම ඒක චෙක් කරලා දාන්නේ නැහැ. එතනදී ඒ වචන වල මොකක් හරි අඩුපාඩුවක් තිබුණාද කියන්නේ.
ඔබතුමාගේ Facebook එකනේ මේ පෞද්ගලික. දැන් මේක වචන වැරදින්න පුළුවන්ද? මේ එක් එක්කෙනාගේ කැටගරි තියෙනවනේ. මේ හෙද නිලධාරීන් සඳහා වැටුප් වැඩිවීම මෙච්චර.
ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණේ දාපු පෝස්ට්.
එතකොට මේක දැන් වළංගු නැහැ කියලාද ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ?
ඔව් දැන් වළංගු නැහැ. ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණේ ඉවරනේ.
නලින්ද දැන් මෙහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන්ද?
ඕවා කියලා රාජ්‍ය සේවකයා ඡන්ද දීලා දිනුවා නම් ඒත් ওই තත්ත්වය තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ දේශපාලනයේ මේ බොරු පොරොන්දු දීලා ජනතාව මේවා විශ්වාස නොකරන නිසා හොඳයි. ඒ නිසා තමයි සුරංග ඔබ අපේ මැතිවරණ ව්‍යාපාර දිහා බැලුවා නම් රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්ට අපි ඔයනි පොරොන්දුවක් දුන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අපි දන්නවා භාණ්ඩාගාර තියෙන තත්ත්වය මොකද්ද කියලා. අපි කිව්වේ වැඩි වෙන ජීවන වියදමානුව අර්ධවාර්ෂිකව මේ වැටුප් වැඩිවීම පිළිබඳව අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන්න සූදානම්. එහෙම නැත්නම් රුපියල් 55000 හරි 57000 දෙන්න අපි කතා කරේම නැහැ මේ වෙලාවේදී. ඒක මම හිතනවා භාණ්ඩාගාරයත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරලා විධිමත් සාකච්ඡාවක් අනතුරුව මොනවද අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක තමයි අපි ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කළ යුතුව තිබෙන්නේ. ඉතින් කොහොම හරි මේ සියලු පොරොන්දු ජනතාව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කළා, විශේෂයෙන්ම තැපැත් හඳදායකයා.
The Colombo Additional Magistrate Bandare Langasinghe has once again rejected the bail application submitted by W.M. Mendes and Company directors Arjun Aloysius, Anthony Randev Dinendra John, who were sentenced to imprisonment for evading VAT payments amounting to 3.5 billion rupees owed to the government.
On Monday, the magistrate sentenced Arjun Aloysius and the other defendants to imprisonment for not complying with the court's order to pay outstanding VAT by November 14, 2023. The case, filed by the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue, accused the defendants of failing to pay the VAT due between 2016 and 2019. The defendants sentenced to 6 months were Arjun Aloysius, Anthony Randev Dinendra John and K. Prasanna Kumarasiri. During today's hearing, President's Counsel Razik Zaruk, representing the defendants, argued that the case had become a criminal matter following the imposition of the sentences. He also mentioned that an appeal had been filed with the High Court against the sentences, requesting bail for his clients pending the appeal. However, the magistrate rejected these arguments, stating that the case was presented based on a certificate from the Inland Revenue Department. He further emphasized that the sentences imposed were alternative punishments and did not convert the case into a criminal matter, thus denying the bail request.
The crux of Sri Lanka's current debt crisis lies in debt. Countries around the world take out loans, but our dilemma lies in how we have utilized that debt. Did we invest in income-generating projects, or did we squander those funds?
What happened to Sri Lanka?
When we compare our levels of debt with the value of the projects financed by that debt, a significant gap emerges. In Sri Lanka, investment often feels like a maze of bribes and commissions. Some have thrived in this environment, earning the notorious label of Mr. 10%. It is evident how much potential investment has been lost. No one opposes development or big projects. But the real question is whether these initiatives were undertaken with a clear understanding of priorities. Think about a family. When a family member falls ill, would you spend money on a new house or a car instead of their care? Think about the Mathala International Airport now. Despite a $210 million loan at sky-high interest, Mathala struggles to generate enough income to cover its debts. According to reports, in 2022 alone, operational costs soared to 2.033 billion rupees, 26 times higher than the revenue generated. After taxes, the net loss was at 22.214 billion rupees. Over the past 5 years, losses at Mathala have reached 42.818 billion rupees. With a $190 million loan to build the airport, annual repayments amount to 1.842 billion rupees. But where are the planes? Wouldn't it have made more sense to improve the Bandar Naik International Airport in Katunaika instead? But instead, we invested in an airport that made headlines when a plane finally touched down. What did the 2015 government do? They stored paddy at the Mathala International Airport. But when the government changed in 2019, they claimed this storage caused further damage. These actions have left a lasting impact on public finances, often tangled in political agendas. Once again, the media is not against development or big projects, but we need to prioritize wisely. If we had, could we have avoided bankruptcy?
What happened to Sri Lanka?
A group of youth recruited for employment in Israel during the previous government arrived at the president's office today. Now, this was to inform the president about the injustices they faced. A group of young individuals reported that a significant number of youths had been recruited through interviews, with some already deployed to Israel for employment. They said that the remaining candidates had completed a week of training, obtained medical reports, and were still in the country, awaiting further action.
Since December 2023, lists containing 4,579 and 5,174 candidates were processed by the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment for agricultural jobs in Israel. Medical assessments were conducted for the 4,579 who were assured of prompt deployment to Israel throughout December. As a result, many young people, over 12,000, have lost their jobs, sold their motorcycles, and are now facing financial difficulties. After completing their medical checks, they have been left waiting for nearly 10 months, living in hardship without the promised employment and accumulating debt. Since December 27th, various groups have been sent to Israel. However, due to issues faced by those who travelled in April and complications within this process, the agreements with Israel have stalled. We approached the president to express our concerns, and his secretary facilitated a meeting. During our discussion, the president inquired about our situation. We are scheduled to meet with the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment within the week to address these matters. Currently, there are approximately 4,800 job vacancies for workers in hotels. We were provided with a file number during our medical examinations, indicating that candidates will be sent to Israel according to this number. This was the final response we received.
Hirunika Premachandra says she is unwilling to accept criticism levelled against party organisers by an individual who isn't engaged in politics and is neither the leader or the General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. Recently, Hirunika Premachandra resigned from her post as the national organiser of the SJB's female wing, the Samagi Wanita Balawegaya.
Hirunika Premachandra attended a media briefing held at the Election Operations Centre of the SJB today, subsequent to handing over the resignation letter as the national organiser of the Samagi Wanita Balawegaya. She was flanked by the General Secretary of the party at the media briefing.
මුතුමියට චෝදනා කරේ කවුද වැඩ කරේ නෑ මේ සංවිධායකවරු ඉඳ මේ තමයි මේ පෙරදුනේ කියලා. එච්චරටම බරපතල චෝදනාවක් කරන්න තරම් කවුද මේ කියන ප්‍රබලය.
මෙහෙමයි ඒක ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී මහලේකම්තුමා හිටියේ නෑ. ඒකයි එතුමායි පිළිබඳව දන්නේ නැත්තේ. ඒ වුණාට මට පෞද්ගලිකව එක
The General Secretary was not present at the time, which is why he is unaware of it. But a certain person told me in private. That person did not single me out. The fact of the matter is, this isn't what the leader thinks. Neither is it the General Secretary's opinion, but that is the opinion of some. I felt a great disappointment. Today, the leader held a meeting with the representatives of my electorate. Then too, he emphasized that he is aware of how much we dedicated ourselves amid many difficulties and at times having to spend our own funds for the cause. He said he will never forget the work we did. I would have no issues had this criticism been made by the leader or the General Secretary. I am not prepared to be criticized by someone who isn't even in politics.
තුමා එතනේ රැස්වීමේදීත් ප්‍රකාශ කරේ. ඔන්න මට ඒක මහලේකම්තුමා හෝ නායකතුමා කිව්ව නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑනේ. එහෙම දේශපාලනයක් නොකරන කෙනෙක්ගෙන් මම මේ දේවල් අහන්න ලෑස්ති නෑ කියන එකයි මම කියන්නේ.
ඒ කියන්නේ නායකතුමාට මහලේකම්තුමාට එහා ගියේ
නෑ එහෙම නෙවෙයි.
පාරේ යන කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා පුතුමේ චෝදනා කරාට පුතුමේ තරහ වෙන්නේ නෑනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඊට වැඩිය ප්‍රබලව මෙතන ඉන්නවද
එහෙම වෙන්න දෙන්න බෑනේ පක්ෂයක්.
That cannot be. The topmost positions within the party are held by the leader and the General Secretary. There aren't any seniors beyond them. We will not allow that to happen either. Nothing can happen without the leader or General Secretary's signature. The leader makes decisions while the General Secretary executes them. There are no other seniors beyond them and we will not allow it either.
General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya announced at the media briefing that he does not accept her letter of resignation.
Hirunika Premachandra is the national organiser of the Samagi Wanita Balawegaya of our party. Recently, she had announced she will resign from her post. What she meant by that is this. In our party, we usually appoint people to positions for only 1 year. It applies to the youth wing, women's wing and trade unions. We extend those appointments every year. She announced her intention to resign after her tenure ended. I will not accept that at all. So, she has now agreed to continue working as the national organiser of the Samagi Wanita Balawegaya.
ඒකනේ මාර වදයක් වෙද්දී තාම එතුමා කිව්වට මේ තාම වචනේ දිවනේ ඉතින් ගන්නෑ බාර ගන්නෑ ලියුම
මේකම ලිපිය බාර ගන්නෑ ඉතින් මේක ලිපිය බාර දුන්නා ලිපිය බාර ගන්න තියෙන්නේ පහුගිය ජනාධිපති වන්නේ තුමේ රට වටා දිව්වා ජාතික සංවිධායකදී
මම තාම මහලේකම්තුමා
I have handed over the letter to the General Secretary of the party. Discussions are still ongoing because they have informed me that they will not accept my resignation. I am not attempting to cause friction within the party or to inconvenience the leader or the General Secretary. I made this decision based on several matters.
කාරණා කීපයක් නිසා
ලක්කම්මත් ඉන්නවනේ ඉතින් මේකට දෙන්න පුළුවන් අවස්ථාව. ලක්කම්. ඔව්. දමිතා අබේරත්න මහත්මිය. ඉතින් එතුමියටත් අර මෙච්ච දේවල් මේව කරගන්න පොඩි chance එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ නායකත්වය අරගෙන එන්නකෝ මේ අපි මේ වැඩේ කරමු කියලා.
දමිතා අබේරත්න මහත්මිය බුදුම දක්ෂ කාන්තාවක් වගේ මෙතුමිය
Damitha Abeyratne is a talented woman. She made many sacrifices in recent times when nominations were being prepared. There are issues in communication. Communication plays a vital role. Even trains collide because of miscommunication. I certainly regret what happened with her candidacy. I believe it would have been better if she was given an opportunity.
Actress Damitha Abeyratne commented on how she lost her nomination from the Samagi Jana Balawegaya today.
ඔව් කලකිරලා ඉන්නේ. දේශපාලනේ සමුගන්නවද? සමුගන්න තමයි තීරණය කරේ. මෙහෙමයි. සමුගන්න හිටියේ නෑනේ. දැන් මේ ලොකු ගමනක් යන්නනේ හිටියේ පක්ෂෙත් එක්ක. ඒකටනේ මම දරදී ඇද්දේ පහුගිය කාලෙම. හැබැයි සමුගන්න සිද්ධ කරා. කුමන්ත්‍රණය කරා. ඒක තමයි ඇත්ත.
කවුද කුමන්ත්‍රණය කළේ කියලා
දිගින් දිගට බොරු කියන එක ඉවස ගන්න බැරුව තමයි
for me to endure continuous lies, which is why I'm bringing this truth to light. Because honestly, before this, Hesha told me that someone from Ratnapura would be put in my place and that I would have to step aside. I was told to ask for a position from somewhere else. I had invitations from Kalutara as well. I could have gotten nominations from anywhere else in Sri Lanka. However, I have worked as an artist without any conditions with the party. I never set any conditions, but those people are genuinely trying to ruin my life by attacking Damitha Abeyratne. However, you cannot kill Damitha Abeyratne. My question is, where is the democracy within the party? Where is the policies of the party? I saw the General Secretary come on a TV program saying that there was a problem due to communication. This is ridiculous. Mr. General Secretary, I respected you like a father. Don't come into the public eye and make such irresponsible statements. I saw the General Secretary say that I haven't made a complaint yet. What more is there to be done? I have made complaints to various authorities. I have made complaints to the leader. This needs to be properly investigated. Separate investigations must be conducted with Hesha and the General Secretary, and it shouldn't be under the nomination board. They should sit at the same table and talk to each other to conduct the investigation. I am an actress. I came to your party with a reputation. I had a reputation when I joined Aragalaya. I have never earned a recognition by joining the Aragalaya or the Samaki Janabalavegya. Now the leader is telling me that he will do justice for me. He keeps telling me that. He spoke with me yesterday and said to be patient. I was told that justice would be upheld for me and that an inquiry will be carried out as well. On the other hand, as I said, the General Secretary says that he was not told to hold an inquiry. I have requested the highest authority possible to conduct an inquiry on this regard. If you think you can disregard the sacrifices made and just brush it off lightly, what I have to say is that it is unpleasant. I stood by the party. I am now wondering if the party I believed has abandoned me. I am very disappointed in the party. I have trust in the leadership. The General Secretary is saying that it was an issue with communication. If so, withdraw yourself from the national list and include my name in it.
The CA Sri Lanka President's Reflections program took place in Colombo. At the event, former Presidents Ranil Wickremesinghe and Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga commented on anti-corruption laws. Now, former President Maithripala Sirisena was also present.
We have gazetted the proceeds of crimes. Everyone talks of getting the money back if you can trace it, but you have to have a law, and even that is a 10-year process. Then there had to be amendments to the Money Laundering Act. There had to be amendments to the Companies Act, some other laws, which should enable you to really start probing. These are the experiences of other countries. The IMF brought us the best possible advisors on this. Then we have to upgrade our bribery, the commission itself. For a long time, we had not paid enough attention, and we had to get our officers trained. It's a question of looking at various returns and then deciding what has happened. There is no other way. And they agreed to do this, so in the next 3-4 years. But if you say that you can stop corruption immediately, everything will come to a halt.
Yeah.
No, that I don't think was possible.
Yeah.
We said what we have to say.
Yes.
And secondly, we have so far not found any money outside Sri Lanka.
Right.
Even if you find money, the question is, it will take you 10 years to get it back. So it was not relevant to dealing with the economy.
Yes.
My first one was to prevent corruption in the future and then punish all those who were there. So if we go through this, we'll have the best anti-corruption system in the whole of South Asia.
Okay.
And even some of the Southeast Asian countries won't have that. Secondly is to go fast. That's why we brought this new program of accelerating growth. If we have to move fast, to at least go to about 8% growth in the next 4 or 5 years. Move ahead, modernize the economy. And that's the whole series of funds. Now, those is what we put into the country. That's the only way you can go forward. But the electorate has rejected it. So you're not going to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's it. You have now you're having issue that has to be resolved between what the present NPP has said they will do and what is in the agreements with the IMF.
Okay.
So either the IMF must agree to the NPP programs or NPP must agree to IMF programs.
Yeah.
So that is what has to be decided now.
Yeah.
We have all the laws. We still need more. Well, I'll be very happy if the more laws there are, the better, because we have to stop this scourge in our society. So if more laws are required, yes, we brought in a lot of laws in '94 against corruption. We built the Bribery and Corruption Commission. There was something, but we strengthened it. Then the government of President Wickremesinghe brought in new laws recently. So the laws have to be there first. Secondly, you have to have systems and procedures. Laws are not enough. Systems and procedures to control corruption in government. The font of corruption in government are tenders. There have to be very clear tender procedures. For the first time...
So you thought our systems and procedures were not strong enough even then?
No. In '94, we brought in something called the tender procedures document.
Yes.
I personally got involved in drafting it, and I remember within 1 year we sent it to all the secretaries of ministries saying you cannot carry out any tender outside of these procedures given in this. Everything was in that, including what do you call these tenders that are not
procurement process,
but tenders that are not called for
unsolicited.
Even for unsolicited proposals, we had a separate chapter how to regularize that, and we were able to control corruption quite a lot with that. Then, secondly, of course, the ethics again. Who's going to lead it? You can have all the laws and all the systems and procedures were thrown out by the 2005 to 15 government. But even if they are there in name, the people who implement it have to have the right attitudes.
Yeah, sure.
They have to be completely scrupulously honest.
Yeah, scrupulously honest.
Yes, because today our society has learned to say, for example, a businessman wants to get a tender. He comes and lands $1 million on your table and says, "Give this to me." It has happened to me. $5 million were brought to my table in Parliament, to the Prime Minister's table. I was still Prime Minister then. And I said, "Take it and get out now." And it was brought by the husband of a junior minister in my government. I said, "I'll have you arrested now. Get out with this now," with a Singaporean businessman. So you have to have that ethics to be able to have the strength to refuse.
Okay.
So
thank you.
You have to begin with the children's minds. I don't know whether you can change the adults who have got so used to corruption now.
Yeah.
We had a president who used to say, "One tarang horakang karapalla ahuwenda vitarak epa." He said this to his cabinet. And he used to say this to his Palat Sabha MPs, parliamentary MPs, and his Pradesh Sabha members. So, kola one tarang horakang keruwa. Kawat alluwe naha. So, this system is what has completely bedeviled our country.
Sri Lanka decides.
Ministry secretaries, provincial chief secretaries and additional secretaries were summoned to the Election Commission for a meeting today.
Chairman of the National Election Commission, R.M.A. Ratnayaka, said that the participants were informed about the Gazette notification issued by the Election Commission regarding the misappropriation of state property, promotions and appointments during the discussion. During the discussion, attention was focused on how ministries and related institutions should operate according to these laws, as they will remain in effect until the general election is concluded. The heads of government corporations and constitutional boards were also called to the Election Commission to receive this information.
A discussion regarding the presidential election led by the Commissioner General of Elections, Saman Sri Ratnayaka, was held in Battaramulla.
We are discussing elections and the sovereignty of a nation. Sovereignty is not something to be traded. What I emphasized, as always, is it's okay to say good things, but avoid saying harmful things. We have seen the consequences when society leans towards negativity, and we have the experience to understand its impact. No matter what, we must appoint leaders to govern us. We cannot abandon representative democracy. We need a system for this, and if that system is established through elections, we all share the responsibility to safeguard the electoral process. It is not solely the Commission's duty. As citizens, it is our collective responsibility. I hope that after this general election, we will soon have local government elections as well. I believe that if there is no amendment to the Constitution, we will have to face the Provincial Council elections very soon. This will allow us to continue the initiatives that began with the presidential election without interruptions.
In a village where the struggle for clean water has been a daily reality, a new chapter began today. This is the story of the people of Senagama in Matale.
For over 250 farming families in Senagama, the struggle for reliable access to clean water has long been a persistent hardship. While urban dwellers often take for granted the simple act of turning on a tap, these villagers have faced the harsh realities of water shortages that jeopardize their health and livelihood. Today, that narrative has changed. The launch of a water purification system is not just a significant milestone for Senagama. It is a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by rural communities across our nation. This project by Damitha, supported by the Sunshine Foundation for Good, symbolizes hope and resilience.
Make the most of this water project that has been provided to you today. Protect it and preserve it for the benefit of our future generations.
The significance of this project extends beyond the borders of Senagama. For those of us living in urban environments, it serves as a stark reminder of the disparities that exist within our country. While we enjoy the comforts of modern conveniences, many still fight for the basic right to clean water. Damitha, for the people, by the people.
News First, with the people.
Up next is Crime Watch.
A person has been shot dead near the Madhampitiya cemetery in Grand Pass. Police media spokesman DIG attorney Nihal Thalduwa said that the man was travelling in a three-wheeler. A group of people who arrived in a vehicle reportedly opened fire and fled the scene. The police suspect that a 9mm pistol was used in the shooting. A 35-year-old resident of the Mihijaya housing complex in Colombo was fatally shot. The body of a person surmised to have been beaten to death and disposed of in the Mini World's End area in Madolsima several days ago was discovered today. This finding was made during a thorough operation conducted by a team of army officials. Five people have been arrested on suspicion of murdering a person in Ekala Jayala. On the 14th of October, a person travelling alone on the Ekala road was killed and leading to the arrest of 5 suspects aged 22, 33, 45, 48 and 65. Police have also seized the sticks and iron rods believed to have been used in the attack.
Sri Lanka police highlighted an increase in computer crimes committed by foreign nationals in the country. Now, last night, 10 foreign nationals at a hotel in Iranavilla who were suspected of conducting online financial scams were arrested. Police said that among those who were arrested were 4 Malaysian nationals, 4 Ethiopian nationals, a Kenyan national and a Chinese national. Police have seized 20 computers, 3 routers and 282 mobile phones. Additionally, 31 Chinese nationals who were suspiciously gathered in Kandy and Athol Kote were also arrested yesterday. They were produced before the Theldenia Magistrates Court and were remanded until the 23rd of October. Police spokesperson DIG Nihal Talduwa said that nearly 300 individuals have been arrested in connection with internet-based trafficking crimes in the country.
This is referred to as the scam camp. They have reserved 2 rooms in a hotel in Kandy, taking a total of 37 rooms for themselves, effectively setting up a separate camp. The people inside do not go outside. They use a private swimming pool. They have separate facilities in the hotel, including their own kitchen and dining area, which is also kept private. All meals are provided for them without them having to go outside. Therefore, all necessary amenities are being provided, allowing them to continue operating without an interruption.
What are they doing?
They are involved in activities such as accessing various accounts in foreign countries to acquire funds. As a result, we are now seeing that in addition to Sri Lanka, a significant amount of money is being discreetly transferred to other countries in larger sums. This is happening due to our lack of awareness regarding such operations.
The Chinese embassy in Colombo had issued a statement that China is paying close attention to the arrest of foreign nationals, including Chinese nationals, in connection with computer crimes. According to the statement, these incidents have caused significant harm not only to the property of the people in both countries, but also to China's image and the traditional friendship between the two nations. The Chinese embassy has said that they will provide full support to law enforcement agencies in Sri Lanka to ensure the suspects are apprehended. It also notes that some of these criminals and gangs are using Sri Lanka's telecommunications infrastructure and geopolitical location, as well as the friendly relations with China, to engage in these activities.
They are coming to Sri Lanka on tourist visas. I sometimes can't pinpoint the exact reasons for choosing Sri Lanka. It could be a socio-economic factor. Many groups in Sri Lanka seem to quickly fall victim to the messages they receive. South Asia has a tendency for individuals to choose locations that are very susceptible to such messages, which are often very appealing and include financial incentives. If someone facing economic difficulties can quickly obtain money, they may be inclined to take such an opportunity.
What is the responsibility of citizens in avoiding these scams?
We urge the people to not think solely about money when renting out their homes. It is essential to consider the purpose of the individuals renting the property and what they intend to do with the house.
The Court of Appeal issued an interim order today restraining the Divisional Secretary of Udapalata Gampola from unduly influencing or obstructing the cable car project in Ambuluava, the first project of its kind in Sri Lanka. The order was issued by the Court of Appeal pursuant to a petition filed by a private company claiming that their project is being obstructed.
The petition was called up in the presence of Justices M.T.M. Lafar and P. Kumararatnam of the Court of Appeal. President's Counsel Ali Sabri, appearing for the petitioner, said the Divisional Secretary is hindering the construction of the project despite approval from necessary state institutions being granted. President's Counsel Sabri further said a number of people have also been arrested over this incident. The President's Counsel added that the area where this construction is being carried out is completely under the authority of the Urban Development Authority. Hence, the Divisional Secretary has no authority to interfere. He requested court to issue an interim order preventing any further obstructions or interference in this project, while claiming that the estimated completion period of the project has been delayed owing to these obstructions. After considering the facts presented, the court issued an interim order against the Divisional Secretary, allowing the project to move forward without any hindrance. The petition will be called up again on the 29th of October.
The newly renovated premises of the Japanese embassy was inaugurated recently.
The newly renovated premises of the Japanese embassy were inaugurated at Srimat R.G. Senagama, Colombo 7. Prime Minister Dr. Harinyama Suvya graced the evening. The Chief of Defence Staff General Shavendra Silva, former Speaker Damitha Abeyratne, as well as US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chang were among those who attended the event. The evening marked the final official function of the incumbent Japanese ambassador as he concludes his 3-year tenure in Sri Lanka. In his remarks, the ambassador reflected on the deep-rooted relationship between the two nations, emphasizing the long-standing ties and mutual cooperation that have strengthened over the years.
The day the Sri Lankan government announced a default on its debt in April 2022, and what happened in the wake of it came as a great shock to me, just as it did to everyone else. As a foreign envoy in Sri Lanka, I do not spare any time and effort in working with the Sri Lankan government and the people. Historically, Japan and Sri Lanka have been time-tested partners, especially in times of great challenges. So I immediately realized the 2022 economic crisis was the golden opportunity in disguise to showcase our strong bond. The result was the establishment of the OCC and the subsequent completion of the MOU for the debt restructuring, where Japan played a key role in steering the creditor countries to the common goal of bailing Sri Lanka out of the trouble. However, the debt restructuring process was only one side of the story, as I personally witnessed the crippling damage done to the ordinary people. Japan, while all the loan projects were suspended, swiftly shifted focus to helping the vulnerable and underprivileged. Fuel, food, and medicine. Those were the things we provided in grants to the people who were most affected by the economic crisis. Furthermore, the year 2022 coincided with the 70th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relationship between Japan and Sri Lanka. The looming economic woes at the beginning of the year and the sovereign default that followed made it seem untimely to celebrate our anniversary. But here again, difficult times always present us with a chance to act for the better. We did not just restart, but we forged an alliance with the Sri Lankan government to attract more younger generation Sri Lankans. It was a great success, and 2023 and 2024 versions followed with even greater enthusiasm. Another area that I have put tremendous efforts in is facilitating national reconciliation. It is based on my strong belief that prosperity of Sri Lanka cannot be manifested in its true sense unless national reconciliation is achieved. It has been an ambitious endeavor as to whether the international community can make a meaningful contribution as facilitators for Sri Lankan people's efforts toward reconciliation. It is an unfinished work and has not borne concrete fruit yet, but I believe a Sri Lanka where everyone lives peacefully and harmoniously would be stronger and more prosperous.
The Prime Minister, in her address to the gathering, expressed appreciation to Ambassador Mizukoshi Hidaiki for his invaluable contribution to strengthening the bilateral relations between the two friendly nations and extended her best wishes for his future endeavors.
During the past 2-3 years, particularly after the economic crisis, you've been a real good friend to Sri Lanka. Japan has been a great partner in uplifting Sri Lanka's infrastructure, agriculture, health and education sectors. And I'm confident that with this new diplomatic mission, these areas of cooperation will only grow in strength and become stronger. Your Excellency, as we gather here today to bid you farewell, allow me to express on behalf of the government and the people of Sri Lanka our deep gratitude for your remarkable service.
The evening was honoured by the presence of several foreign diplomats in Colombo, the Secretary to the President, the Commander of the Sri Lankan Navy, former parliamentarians, government officials and other distinguished guests from various sectors.
A media briefing was held to discuss the progress of the first phase of the pilot project on satellite-based oil spill monitoring in Sri Lanka in Colombo today. This project is a collaboration between the French satellite group Collate Localization Satellites and the Marine Environment Protection Authority, also known as MIPA.
We have been acquired more than 200 images of those during 1 year, during the 12 months project. So in total, 207 images were acquired. And when we presented these results to all the stakeholders, they were very surprised by the results because they probably did not expect to see so many pollutions in the national waters. In total, 115 pollutions were detected during 12 months, which means that on average, each time we were acquiring an image, we had a more than 50% chance to see a pollution in this image. And we also did an estimation of the volume of pollutant this represents. Think that in total, the total volume of pollutants that we have seen during this 12 months project was more than 6 million liters of pollutants released to the Sri Lankan waters. So on average, every month, we estimate that 500,000 liters of pollutants have been relieved every month during this period into the Sri Lankan waters. The amount of pollutant which was released by the incident of the Express Pearl in 2021 was 350,000 liters. So this means that on average, we have the equivalent volume of the Express Pearl released to Sri Lankan waters every month. So that's the first striking result of this project. So, as you know, not only we were able to detect the pollutions, but we were also able to identify the potential polluters in some cases. And for this project, we were able to do so in 26 cases. So out of the 115 pollutions detected, in 26 cases, we were also able to identify the polluter and to point to them to take possible actions.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. Mangala Vijayasinghe assumed office as the chairman of the Export Development Board today. Now, Mangala Vijayasinghe, a graduate in economics from the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, also holds a postgraduate degree in business management from Cardiff Metropolitan University.
The Court of Appeal today issued an order preventing authorities from arresting cricketer Upul Tharanga, the chairman of Sri Lanka Cricket's selection committee, upon returning to the country. Previously, a warrant was issued by the Matale High Court for the arrest of Upul Tharanga.
The two-judge bench of the Court of Appeal, comprising Justices M.T.M. Lafal and P. Kumararatnam, made this order pursuant to the writ petition filed by Upul Tharanga challenging the legality of the Matale High Court's order. On the 8th of October, the Matale High Court had issued a warrant for the arrest of Sri Lanka cricket legend Upul Tharanga after he failed to appear in court as a witness over the match-fixing case. Upul Tharanga had travelled overseas without informing court. Senior counsel Nishan Premathiratne with Shanali Dias and Vikum Jayasinghe, on the instructions of Gamindu Karunasena, appeared for petitioner Upul Tharanga.
Team Sri Lanka taking part in the ACC Men's T20 Emerging Teams Asia Cup 2024 departed the island earlier today.
The Men's T20 Emerging Teams Asia Cup 2024 is being hosted by Oman. The Sri Lankan contingent taking part in the tournament will be led by Nuwanindu Fernando. The squad includes several prominent players such as Ramesh Mendis, Lahiru Dara, Lasit Cruz Pulle and Pawan Ratnaika. The tournament consists of 8 teams divided into 2 groups. Sri Lanka will compete in Group A, which also features Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Hong Kong.
This marks the first time a T20 tournament is being held in this format. The rules have been adjusted. Previously, this tournament required under 23 players from test-playing nations, with 5 players needing to fit that age limit. This time, that requirement has been lifted, making the tournament different. However, I believe we have a talented young team and I am eager to see how we perform.
This is the first time I have been named captain of Sri Lanka A. I intend to make full use of this opportunity. We have a very talented squad. When looking at our recent record, we were able to play the South Africa series well. There are many who performed in it. I believe we have a good composition of players to go far in this tournament.
The ICC Men's T20 Emerging Teams Asia Cup 2024 will commence on Friday, the 18th of October.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
Night.